We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We've got to add a little addendum to the show map today, so we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. They always have been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been getting bigger.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show. We bring you the latest in everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Today, I just want to thank you for joining in, and we're going to go ahead and read some comments. But today, we're going to be talking about the drop that has begun over the last little while on Bitcoin. I do believe that we're going to have a continued drop on Bitcoin, but as you guys know, there was a price target that we had set around 25.7 to 25.8. Overnight, Bitcoin has dropped right back down to that level of support around 25.8, about 25.850. So Bitcoin has started that second drop that we've discussed. It's broken bearish below the 100 daily exponential moving average. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about what the next little while for Bitcoin looks like and whether or not the bottom that we've been looking for is actually going to be coming relatively soon. I do believe that we're going to see a bottom on Bitcoin within the next 2 weeks, within the next $2,000 to $3,000, and we're likely going to end up seeing that bottom be a major reversal where Bitcoin can then begin a major uptrend. Again, like I said, thank you so very much for tuning in to Coffee and Crypto Live. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment so that I can read them. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and see in chat. We've got Wisely T, who was first. He inserted a witty comment. And literally, that's just what it says. It wasn't any kind of specific comment. He just literally, boom, insert witty comment here. Joe Bollier. I'm not sure. You tell me how to pronounce that. Raised his hand. Yes, I'm calling on you, Joe. What is your question? Okay, well, I'll answer that when we get to the end of the segment. No, I'm kidding. Of course, you can tell me whatever you need. Crypto Neb said, hi, Jebb. Mike Lowry said morning. RC Moore in chat said good morning. Crypto Mini Bike said good morning, everybody. Clout Casino said morning. Freedom Advocate said good morning. RC Moore asking me about Bitcoin. Not going to touch that. I don't really touch a lot of the smaller cap coins. Let's see. Philly Skills 1428 said, yes, sir. I'm here for true higher learning. Good deal. Crypto Santa said good morning from Australia. Good morning from the land down under. Alex Nibo said good morning. Mike Lowry said hashtag FinSaw. Cloud Casino said hashtag StackSats. Love it. Eagles Quest in chat. Brian Bowles. Jesse Van Vleckert said good morning from the Netherlands. Aru Basu said what's up, Jebb? Good deal. CW is in chat. Good to see you on the CW. There's a television channel around here that we thought that's called the CW. I wonder if there's an affiliation there. All right, let's go ahead and jump on over to CoinMarketCap. As you guys can see, Bitcoin is currently trading at $26,300. It is down 0.1% over the last 24 hours. It is down 3.46% over the last 7 days. It's up 11% over the last 90 days, and it's up 58.36% year to date. Still having some pretty large gains over the course of this year, even if Bitcoin has not gone through a massive rally over the last couple of months. This year thus far has been very bullish indeed. Ethereum is currently trading at $17.95. Love to see it. It's up slightly over the last 24 hours, but for the most part, market's been trading somewhat sideways over the last 24 hours. About 24 hours ago, we had a large drop. So we're seeing that movement, that sideways action being played out on the 24-hour percentage change right there. We're down about 1.3% over the last 7 days. Bitcoin holding firm at $509 billion in market capitalization. That is a major level that Bitcoin has come down to historically and relatively recently. Just looking at the last month, you can see we came down to about, over on market cap, we came down to about $509 billion on May the 12th, and then we've also come down to it quite a bit recently. Bitcoin is kind of holding above that $500 billion mark. One thing to keep in mind is that if Bitcoin does break below the $500 billion mark, which roughly sits at $25,700 or so, then that is where you could see a precipitous rally that would drop Bitcoin even farther. That's where I've talked about on the last several episodes of Coffee and Crypto Live that if we do see a drop below 25.7, then there's a price target where we could drop as low as 24,200. And in fact, there's a CME gap down here at $20,000 that Bitcoin could very well go all the way down to fill. So make no mistake, Bitcoin trading above $500 billion is a very important level. Breaking below $500 billion would be a psychological break, which would break the confidence of quite a number of traders. Ethereum is in a similar boat, but it is $15 billion above its level. It's sitting at $215 billion. Were Ethereum to break below $200 billion, that would be pretty substantial. However, Ethereum moving $15 billion is a lot harder than, to the downside, is a lot harder than Bitcoin moving $9 billion to the downside, because $215 billion is a smaller market capitalization than 509, and 15 is larger than 9. So moving $15 billion to the downside on Ethereum would take almost 3 times the percentage movement as it would take for Bitcoin, just because of the way the market capitalization ratios are set up. Looking at the last month or so, we can see that Ethereum has dropped down to that range about 212. The $200 billion mark was pretty much our resistance back here in January and February. When we breached through it, we're kind of in this new zone. You can almost see right here, if I just hold my cursor right here, let's just see if I can find a good spot to put it. Right around here, you can see above this horizontal line is where quite a lot of the trading on Ethereum has happened recently. Below that line is where a lot of it had happened over the last 12 months, starting about 3 months ago. So Ethereum has moved into this new paradigm where it's trading above $200 billion. Getting above $200 billion was a major significant development for Ethereum, you might say. And in a similar light, getting above $500 billion on Bitcoin was a very major development as well, with $500 billion sitting right about here. You can see Bitcoin spent a lot of its time trading below $500 billion, below that $500 billion mark, above the $1/3 trillion mark. Now we're trading somewhat above the $500 billion mark. And from that context, you could see that in general, what Bitcoin has been doing over the last 2 months is going back and back testing $500 billion. So if Bitcoin were to go to a slightly lower level than it is right now, you guessed it, right around 25.7 to 25.236, then that, my friends, is where Bitcoin would be retesting $500 billion and where it may end up having a bounce. While I do think that a drop down to 24.2 is possible and would probably be healthy for the market, it is also important to note something that shows up pretty clearly here on CoinMarketCap. What is the trend that is happening exactly to the right of my cursor? Who can see it? Anyone who's been through CT2A or Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis will probably be able to see what I'm talking about. That, my friends, is a falling wedge, and that is a falling wedge that happened after a major rally. Taking a look here at the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, at the Bitcoin market itself, you can see on the linear chart, it's a little bit more clear on the linear chart, there is this, it's not perfect, but this general falling wedge pattern right here that forms after this major uptrend. You can even see it's almost at exactly a 90-degree perpendicular angle to the trend angle of the rally that we saw in March and April. Coming out of this rally, if that was indeed to be a continuation pattern that we would end up following through on, could give us a price target as high as $36,000 by the end of June. I think that would be a little bit aggressive. I don't think Bitcoin's going to go on and add $200 billion in market capitalization in a month and a half. I don't think we're quite there. But if Bitcoin does not break bearish here, and it does stay above roughly 25,236, because you can kind of finagle this bottom trend line to make it fit. If we do stay above 25,236 and we do have a bounce, then that would be big. And we do break this downtrend right here, which is getting to be pretty easy to break, because right now it's only at 27,000. Here in 2 weeks, it'll only be at 26.2. That's where we are right now. If we break above that trend line here in a couple of weeks, then Bitcoin's going to be in a solid position to go through a major rally moving into later part of June, early July, assuming that we have that effective federal funds rate pause and assuming that we see CPI data be at least somewhat bullish. Now, we don't want to be in this position where CPI is dropping by 0.1%, or it's even worse yet, flatlining or going up, where we're dropping to 4.8 and then 4.7, or, worse yet, we're staying at 4.9, or even worse yet, we're going up to 5.0 or 5.1. We don't want to see that. We also don't want to see the Federal Reserve hiking rates anymore. If we see a 0.2% drop or at least a 0.1% drop on CPI, the effective federal funds rate either plateau or they hike it 25 basis points again, but they all but guarantee that the next time is going to be a pause, then that starts instilling some hope in the market. And the timing lines up very nicely here, because Bitcoin is at the same time consolidating from all of this price action movement. And there is some hope on the horizon for the effective federal funds rate, which means that there's hope on the horizon for the SPY, which the SPY is having a pretty large correction right now, but at the same time, it is kind of backtesting a downtrending level of support, of current support, previous resistance. If it holds that, great, wonderful. And all of that kind of comes together in convergence in time, where Bitcoin could be seeing quite a lot of hopefulness. I'm not sure that's a word. Quite a lot of hope coming into its space over the next 6 months as Bitcoin completes this major correction that it's been doing all throughout April and all throughout May, moving into probably through June and then a rally into July. All of that coming together with the plateau in the effective federal funds rate and hopefully a resurgent rally on the SPY as a result of the rate market no longer becoming more hawkish, but going through a pause. And then after that pause begins, people are going to start wondering, well, where is the next drop? When are they going to start dropping rates? Historically, you look at the effective federal funds rate, you go back in history, you typically don't stay up here at a high rate for very long before you end up having that correction. Here in 2005, we ended up staying up here about a year. Here in 2018, we ended up staying up here less than a year, with this being the most aggressive hiking cycle that we've ever seen, that we've seen in nearly half a century. On the effective federal funds rate, it's very possible that the effective federal funds rate stays up here for 200 to 300 days. Then moving into Q1 of next year, we start to see a correction. You guessed it, at the exact same time that we see right around here. At the exact same time, right around the exact same time that we see the halving take place on Bitcoin. So there would be this theoretical convergence of declining interest rates. And normally when they drop the interest rates, as you can see, they kind of dump them off a cliff. The reason for that in these two instances is because they drop the interest rates to allow stimulus into the economy during a period of recession. At this point, we very well may be going into a recession. We very well may have already been in a recession. The Fed realizes that these high rates are hurting the economy, so they're probably not going to leave them up here very long. They're just trying to get inflation under control on that 12-month average, even if prices don't go back to where they used to be. They're trying to slow down the rate of new inflation. If they are able to accomplish that, then they will probably drop those rates within the next year. Again, that would correspond with, excuse me, I'm on the wrong thing here. That would correspond with the halving on Bitcoin. So going back to Bitcoin, how does this look for Bitcoin? Well, in the short term, Bitcoin, I think, is approaching the bottom of this trend. It's got this this symmetrical triangle pattern here that has been defined and keynoted by the 50 and the 100 daily exponential moving average. You can see it right here. The 50 and the 100 daily exponential moving average. Bitcoin broke bearish out of that. And when it broke bearish out of that, it ended up dropping down to a similar level that it had in the past. About a couple of weeks ago, back down to 25,800. From that point in time, if Bitcoin does continue on with its price target from those levels, then Bitcoin could very easily go through a major drop down to $25,700 or down to $25,236. These are the two big levels that I'm looking at right here, $25,700 to $25,236, somewhere in that zone. If you'll remember, a big part of the reason for that is because of the price target that we've seen here on the Lux Algo time on the Lux Algo price action charts here, where we have our on the Lux Algo indicator here, where we have our take profit down here around 24,400. It's very possible, in my opinion, that Bitcoin's going to drop. It's very likely, in fact, in my opinion, that Bitcoin's going to drop at least into this first take profit zone, which bottoms out around 24.5, starts at around 25,800. Somewhere in there is likely where we're going to bottom out. So then that leaves us with the question, okay, well, if Bitcoin's about to bottom out, what do we do with that? What I would like to encourage you to do is to pay very close attention to where that bottom is. Pay very close attention to when that bottom is. When that bottom comes in, and I'm not really sure that it's in yet, because if it were, I think you'd see a much more sustained bounce than we're seeing right now. If and when that bottom does come in, then that's where you're going to want to start saying, okay, we've been in a let's just call it a primary downtrend. You could call it a secondary trend of the primary uptrend here, but let's just set our perspective and say this is our primary downtrend. Let's say that we're trying to reverse and go into a primary uptrend. Then what you want to do is say, okay, I think this is the bottom, and these are the confirmations that I need to confirm that I was right. Let me say that again. You're looking for a bottom, and then when Bitcoin starts rallying again, you're looking for any kind of confirmation that you think is relevant to say that this rally is true, and that truly was the bottom. After you have enough confirmations for you to become confident, then that is where you can start to put a long trade, or you can start to say, okay, I am comfortable investing here. Dollar cost averaging is a great idea. I think if your net worth is not percentaged out where, let's say your goal for net worth is 5% in cryptocurrency, 10%, 50%, whatever it is, beside the point. If you're not there yet, then dollar cost average. But also another thing that you can do is you can lump sum invest. If you're looking for a bottom here, not a bad idea to try and find a bottom to lump sum invest, but make sure that you're a profitable technical analyst, because remember the old adage, and it is true, time in the market beats timing the market. I should say that the full statement is, although if you know how to time the market, it can sometimes be helpful. And if you find a bottom here, it could be very helpful for you to buy a lump sum on a dip if one appears. Now, the thing to keep in mind is if you're investing for 5 years, whether you buy at 26.3 or at 25.8, doesn't really make that big of a difference in the long run. So don't get too caught up on this. I'm mainly talking to the traders. I'm mainly talking to the swing traders who are trying to get in a trade that they're going to hold for a month or something like that. When Bitcoin bottoms here and you have confirmation, I have no confirmation and no confidence that this downtrend is over yet. But when we start to have confidence in that, perhaps we see the bottom. Bitcoin sets a third lower low, 1, 2, and a third down here in this price target zone somewhere, bounces, and then maybe your first confirmation is it breaks above this downtrend. Maybe your second confirmation is that Lux Algo flips on itself and goes bullish. You know, it wouldn't take that much for Bitcoin to flip and go bullish. The trend catcher right now on Bitcoin is sitting at 27.1. Generally speaking, it's a little more complicated than this. But generally speaking, a lot of times to get a buy signal on Lux Algo, you've got to get above the trend catcher. Getting above the trend catcher right now would require Bitcoin going to above $27,000. If Bitcoin drops down here to like 24.8 or something, then the trend catcher would likely drop down to like 26.5. So you would probably end up seeing a buy signal coming into play on Bitcoin at the same time you broke this downtrending level of resistance right here. That might be the confirmation that you need to say, okay, I'm going to enter a long trade when we break above this downtrending level of resistance. If we do that, great. That's where I'm going to put a long trade, and then we can talk about price targets all day long when we get there. We're too early for that, but price targets on this could be anywhere between $28,000 and $34,000. The point is that that would be a profitable entry, even if you don't know exactly how far to hold that trade just yet. It's normally a good idea to have a price target before you enter a trade, so you have a full plan, even if you have to adjust the plan. Dwight D. Eisenhower, one of the great generals of the Second World War and one of the presidents of the United States in the 1950s, said, it is what did he say? He said, plans are useless, but planning is invaluable. It's very important to have a plan, even if 2 minutes in, you scrap the plan and you come up with something different. The reason is because the process of planning is going to help you study and explore all options, all avenues, all, to use the military analogy, because that's the context he said that in, that's going to help you to explore, okay, the Japanese, because he's World War II, remember, and he's in the Pacific Theater, I think, anyway, I could be wrong on that, but the Japanese are going to have their Mitsubishi Zeros coming in this way, they've got their carrier force over here, they've got landing craft over here, let's say it's like the Battle of Okinawa or so. You've got, these are the troops here, these are the troops, we're going to plan this, and this, and to make a plan, you have to study the battle map, you have to study the way that this is all going to go down. So if you get boots on the ground and you realize, wait a minute, we were wrong, we need to throw this out, at least you've done the strategic analysis, in that case, the technical analysis in this case, to understand, broadly speaking, what's going on so that you were informed enough to make a split-second decision. Don't make a split-second decision without having already had a plan. For example, one of the things that I try and live by, and I very much need the Lord, but one of the things that I try to live by is I try not to be too decisive in a moment. If I'm being decisive in a moment, I want the reason I'm being decisive in a moment to be because I have thoroughly thought through everything that is going to impact a situation like that. So for example, if somebody asked me to lie, I've thought that through. I'm not going to lie. I'm just not going to do it and maybe if me would save somebody's life, maybe, right? You know, for me, for speeding, I don't speed unless somebody's in danger, right? When we were giving birth to our daughter, I'm not gonna lie, I'll tell you right now, I drove 85 miles an hour into 60 because we were trying to get to the hospital because our daughter was about to come, right? Otherwise, I do the speed limit because the Bible tells me to be submissive to rulers and authorities. There's a lot of things the Bible tells me to do that I frankly just kind of suck at doing. So I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal here, but I'm just giving you an example. I've thought about it in the past, and so when I get to the moment, it's very easy for me to make a split-second decision because I've already thought about how I'm going to handle this situation. I need to do a lot more of that because there's a lot of places I get into a moment, into a situation, I'm like, man, I just made a total mess of that. Done a lot of that lately. And that's where I have to be very careful. That's beside the point. My point here is do the planning in advance so that when you get to the moment, you can make a split-second decision because you've already thought about all the avenues. So it is helpful in this case to figure out what your plan is to trade this breakout if you're going to trade that breakout. I suppose that's the first thing you need to do is figure out, are you going to trade this breakout or not? Because it's likely to come, and it might not, but it's likely to come. And if it comes, are you going to trade it? And if so, then figure out your plan in advance. Are you going to buy in at 26.7? Are you going to buy in at 27.1? Are you going to buy in after you've seen 3 confirmations, regardless of the price? That's something you can do. You can say, all right, I've seen this confirmation, this confirmation, this confirmation. I'm not really worried about setting an exact entry price. I'll just take whatever entry I get as soon as I see these 3 confirmations. And then I'll go ahead and I'll put my price target here, here, or here based on what's going on. I'm going to have a plan, and then I'm going to realize I might have to alter the plan, but at least I've done the analysis and the background work to do the plan. So, to the title of today's stream, Bitcoin is getting closer to a major bottom. I believe that a major bottom for Bitcoin is coming between 24.2 and 25.7. Somewhere in there, can't tell you exactly where, but somewhere in there, I think Bitcoin's going to bottom. I could give you, as far as there are a couple of ideas that I have about where that bottom may come. I would not be at all surprised to see it come on the 200 daily exponential moving average. That's sitting at almost exactly 25,000. 25,000 is a big even. We found support on the 200 daily exponential moving average multiple times in the past. It would be the next moving average to find support on, because we found support on the 50, we found support on the 100. Next, we'd find support on the 200, right? This first bottom was a 50 daily EMA support bounce. Second bottom, a 100 daily EMA support bounce. Third bottom, maybe it'd be a 200 daily EMA support bounce. That is very possible, very likely, and it's sitting right there in the very middle of that zone. So wherever the bottom is, 25,000, a little higher, a little lower, doesn't really matter the exact bottom. We'll find that out when we get there. What we need to do is we need to plan and say when that bottom comes in, even if we don't know exactly what it is in the moment, when that bottom comes in, here is our plan for what to do with that. If we go through a major rally, then when we see these 3 confirmations, we will enter a trade, and that trade will look like X, Y, and Z in the third. However, there's another if. If Bitcoin doesn't bottom here and it keeps crashing, then maybe if Bitcoin drops below $24,000, we enter a short. Then that trade would look like X, Y, Z in the third. Right? You see what I mean? As a trader and an analyst, it is not... Just repeat this. It is not just our job to make a prediction about where the market's going. That's a very surface level understanding of it. Our job is kind of like, let's think about it like that. I live in Florida. So this is a very helpful analogy for me. Our job is not just the meteorologist's job. Our job is the meteorologist's job with predicting hurricanes. Our job is the meteorologist's jobs, the governor's job, the police force jobs, FEMA's job, the citizen's job, the mayor's job, the hospital's job. We have all the jobs. We don't just have to predict where the hurricane's going to go. We also have to prepare for what needs to be done when and if the hurricane strikes a certain area. Similarly, it's not just our job as technical analysts to predict the market's going to go here, it's going to go here. It's also our job to prepare for what happens if it goes in one of 5 different directions. Right? Because the spaghetti, Florida's small enough and hurricanes are variable enough that when you have spaghetti models and a hurricane's 10 days out from hitting Florida, it could hit Tallahassee, it could hit Jacksonville, it could hit Miami, it could hit Tampa, it could hit Orlando, it could hit Gainesville, it could hit Cedar Key, it could hit Panama City, it could hit anywhere. So the whole state needs to prepare. The whole state needs to say, all right, we've got a plan if it hits here or here or here or here or here. We're going to predict based on really fancy math and science, in meteorology, in this case, technical analysis, then with a 73.42% likelihood, it's going to hit Jacksonville. So Jacksonville, you need to be the most prepared. We're going to put the most of our resources into planning for that. Similarly here in this case, because we think it's more likely that Bitcoin's going to bounce and rally, we're going to put the majority of our time and effort into preparing and planning for what happens if we bounce and rally. However, even if there's a 3% likelihood that's going to hit Panama City, wouldn't you think it would be conducive to the safety of the citizens of Panama City, which if you don't know the geography of Florida, that's like 200, 300 miles west of Jacksonville. So let's say there's like a 3% likelihood it hits over there. Wouldn't it still be a good idea for Panama City to have some state of readiness, right? Similar thing in crypto. We can prepare for the most part for the long trade that will probably be coming, but there's still a possibility that we just fall through the floor and we crash. So we should prepare for that too. And that's where we set up our long trades and we set up our short trades. And I really hope this has been helpful for you guys because I don't just want to say, boom, a bottom's coming, it's going to rally, you're going to make a lot of money, cool beans. It's my dream not to just give you a fish, but to teach you how to fish. I'll tell you what, there's so many areas in my life. I'm thinking of one, I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm thinking of one area in my life right now where I have been given so many fish and I haven't learned how to fish. And I'm just failing over and over and over again. And every time I fail, I think, man, if someone would just come and give me this fish. Again, I'm going to I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's something heavy on my heart right now. I just keep getting this fish. Like there's something that I need, that myself and other people need. And so it's just get this fish. But what I really need, what I really well and truly need, is I need to be given the education on how to fish so that I don't need somebody to give me a fish. And by the way, this is not finance. I'll just go ahead and roll that out. It's not finance. I'm not talking about loans or anything like that. I'm not talking about that. We're financially sovereign. I'm very happy about that. But I keep needing to get this fish. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to learn how to fish. So that instead of just relying on somebody else to give me a fish out of the goodness of their heart, I can create the fish, right? So that's my dream for you with technical analysis, to make it specific for you guys, is I don't want to just give you a fish. I don't want to just, boom, say Bitcoin's going to bottom here. This is how you plan it. It's my dream to equip you with tools and strategies and setups so that you can be ready to go out and get fish for yourself. What's the fish? The fish in this situation is you being able to find profitable trades, plan for them accordingly, and execute them for profit so that you can use that as an income stream to help generate financial sovereignty for yourself and your family. That's about the simplest I can put it. I hope that was helpful for you guys, showing you guys how I would go through finding a bottom and what to do with it to prepare for a trade. I would love to hear in the comments if you were, and in the chat, if you guys are if you guys are interested in seeing more content like this. As you guys know, Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis is not the only addition to Club DeFi that will be coming in future. We're going to be having Club DeFi's Principles of Trading. And this is one of the things I'm going to talk about, is how to transfer your understanding of your prediction of where the market's going to go into a profitable trade. And then in Club DeFi's Principles of Investment, these courses may take a couple years to come out. I put a lot of work into them, so they're not coming soon. They're coming, soon, but soon could be variable when they come. And in Principles of Investment, I'm going to talk about the same thing. How do we transfer what we know about technical analysis as kind of the foundational, understanding of astrophysics or mathematics or neuroscience or whatever into practical trading and investing, so that you can use that to generate the ultimate goal, which is financial sovereignty. And that's where we'll be talking about personal finance as well. I want to take you guys through a journey where you can learn technical analysis, apply it in trading and investing, and use it to generate financial sovereignty and wealth. That's the dream. That's the dream of this channel. That's the dream of what we're doing here, is to help you guys achieve financial sovereignty using principles of technical analysis, principles of trading, and principles of investment to do so. But there are, of course, other ways to do that as well. Maybe in the future we'll talk about real estate. Maybe in the future we'll talk about stocks. Whatever it may be, I want to help you guys get there. And if you want to get started in that journey, Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis is a great place to start. And I'll tell you exactly why. Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis is built on experience that I have running an online e-learning educational platform called the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis over the last nearly 5 years. September 23rd will be 5 years since CT2A launched, and it's been 5 years of me just learning how to teach you guys what you need to know about technical analysis so that you guys can be profitable in it. And so now I have this dream where I don't just want to teach you TA, I want to teach you how to apply to trading and investing so that you can become financially sovereign through principles of personal finance. And if I can do that and help you guys achieve financial sovereignty, that's going to be something that I can get myself out of bed in the morning and say, man, I just really want to go help these guys learn how to do that. And that's where the beginning step, the first place that we had to start, was in Principles of Technical Analysis, because that's the foundation, right? So Principles of Technical Analysis is our current course. This is built, like I said, on almost 6 years in the crypto markets for myself. Here in 2 months, I will have been in crypto for over 6 years. And about 5 years of teaching how to do technical analysis. In here, we've got over 60 videos teaching you guys everything that you need to know about technical analysis so that you can hit that ground running and get that foundational understanding. We talk about everything from what's a confirmation, what's reversal, continuation. We talk about wedges. We talk about bear markets, bull markets, all of that. And we talk about candlestick formations. We talk about mass psychology. We talk about big evens, RSI, MACD, all of this. We talk about principles of technical analysis so that you guys can have a foundational and firm understanding of technical analysis so that you guys can hit the ground running and getting into crypto. So if you want to join Principles of Technical Analysis, you can use the link in the description box down below, or go to bitcoinacademy.teachable.com, and or you can just type Club DeFi into Google. You'll find it there. You can go to cryptojebb.com. There's a button for it over there on our website. Get started learning today. You can also join our exclusive Discord server and get access to weekly office hours where I go live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern every single Monday, and I share with you guys everything that I've learned about principles of technical analysis and principles of trading, investment, personal finance, etc. And you guys are able to ask questions of me, and I'm able to meet with you guys on a group setting, teacher to student, and I record those and share them in the Discord so that if you're not able to make it to that time, you can watch the video back, comment on it, and I'll answer your comments in the next office hours on the recording so that you still get the ability to ask questions, get answers, even if you were not able to make it to office hours at that time. That's one of the things I'm really excited about. Every single week, there's another 30 to 45 minute office hours episode that's put into Club DeFi's Discord server, where you guys are asking me questions and I'm giving you basically this Q&A format where I'm able to share with you guys everything that you are, share with you guys answers to whatever it is that's on your heart. And I don't claim to be, I don't know everything, but normally I'm able to help you guys as much as I possibly can. And normally people walk away saying, wow, I have a better understanding now because I went to office hours. So make sure to check out Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis with the link in the description box down below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the post notification bell so you won't miss a beat. Let's go ahead and read chat for a little bit. All right. Let's see. Financial sovereignty. Boom. Fried fish on white bread and hot sauce. There you go. Here for education. Love it. Education is very important, buddy. Let's see. I'm going to go for a few more minutes here, so feel free to ask any questions. People are saying Leafy for president. I don't know if Leafy's going to ever become president. We'll see. Morning, Jebb. Hello. No plan equal planning to fail. Yep. Let's see. Waiting patiently for the debt ceiling to be raised. Yep, they're not going to shut down that. What do you think? The government's going to default on its own debt so it can't spend any money. It's going to triage everything that it can do. It's nobody in Congress thinks it's a good idea to shut down the government and say, okay, let's just not pay our troops anymore. Let's just not pay Social Security anymore. We're running a giant deficit, but nobody in the government thinks, and it's not a good idea, just to, boom, cut it off right then, because then you just destroy half of the government. That's a horrible plan, and nobody thinks that's what's necessary. The Republicans are trying to squeeze some concessions out of Joe Biden, and they're using the debt ceiling as leverage because that's what happens every time the government approaches the debt ceiling. If the Congress and the presidency are divided, the Congress will use that as leverage to get concessions out of the president, or if the House and the Senate are divided, they use it to get concessions out of each other. Like, I'm not going to reach a deal with you on this until you give me X, Y, and Z in the third. Excuse me. It's kind of how our government was set up, for people to argue with each other and be forced to compromise. So this is actually, as stupid as it sounds, this argument over the debt ceiling is kind of the way that our Constitution set the government up, where compromise is forced, even when nobody wants to compromise. So it's almost, it's not a good thing. It's almost a good thing because there's compromise being forced. I don't like the idea of forcing compromise. I think compromise should be, come together in love, but that's not the way humans work. That's certainly not the way politicians work. So at least there's compromise being forced to happen. What's the easiest way to project next cycle highs after the halving? What you think it will be for Bitcoin? I believe we're looking at somewhere between all-time high and $150,000. The reason for that has to do with the decreasing percentage gains of the bull market. The first bull market in Bitcoin's history was a 60,000% rally. Second bull market was a 10,000% rally, 200 to 20,000. Third bull market in history was from bottom to top about a 2,000% rally. So you can see they're dropping by 5x every time. I think you're looking at probably a 400 to 500% rally from the bottom, which on Bitcoin's chart here, just looking out at the longer term timescales, if we rallied, let's just say 400 to 500% from the bottom, that would put Bitcoin somewhere between all-time high and let's just say 500% at the top. That would put somewhere between all-time high and maybe $100,000. I'm thinking $100,000 is kind of the max that I'm looking for this bull market. Anything beyond that's kind of like a stretch goal. You know how you say, like, oh, I want to be able to run a mile in 10 minutes. Or, if you're me, I'd like to be able to run a mile in a month. Yeah, I would love to. I'm just kidding. I'm not that. I'm actually pretty athletic when it comes to running. But, but a stretch goal. Our goal is to run the mile in 10 minutes. Our stretch goal is to run the mile in 9 minutes, right? The stretch goal for Bitcoin is anything over 100,000. My real price target for Bitcoin between this bull market is somewhere between all-time high and maybe 110 to 120, somewhere in that range. There you go. All right. Oops, sorry. Talk about quantum computers and its effects on cryptography. Please, I'll stay subbed. Okay, so I've got to answer this for you to stay subscribed. Thought you knew Bitcoin bought Ben. It's mooning. Yeah, I do. I know BitBoy and I know the whole stuff with Ben. I'm gonna do what I think is the wise thing, and I'm going to completely and totally avoid that topic. I don't see any good coming from me addressing that topic, so I'm just gonna kind of leave that there. Thank you very much, RC Moore. I'm not gonna go there. I'm friends with Ben. I'm friendly with Ben, and I like the guy. I don't want to go there. I support anyway. I like the community building that's going on. I'm friends with Ben. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. I don't have any, by the way, I don't have anything to say bad about him either. It's not like I'm trying to hold myself back. But just because it's a cryptocurrency and it's got a person's name on it, I'm just not going to go there. You know, I typically don't go talking about small cap altcoins anyway, so that's not out of the woodwork for me. Anyway, as far as the question of quantum computers, the way the difficulty works on Bitcoin, it automatically adjusts compared to the computing power. So even if the quantum computers are 1,000 times more powerful than Bitcoin, the difficulty will adjust in time because you're not going to have so many quantum computers turn online at the same time that they're just going to be able to override the Bitcoin network. That it's something to be a little bit concerned about, but it's something that Bitcoin can and will adapt to. I'm not terribly worried about it personally. Mario Bahoon said, what crypto trading platform would you suggest? I have an answer to that. I'm working on an answer to that. I'm not going to tell you just yet, but it's launching in about a week, actually. I think it's about a week. I'm working out the details on that, but there's actually a platform that I'm pretty excited about that I do think would be a great DEX. It's a decentralized exchange that's just as good as the centralized exchange that it was modeled after, that I think you guys are really going to like. It'll take you being a mature trader and investor to use it wisely. It'll take you being very careful and not, jumping the gun and diving into too quickly to use it correctly, and you'll need to be very careful with it. But it is a tool that I think you guys will benefit from. So Mario, you'll have to come back in a week or two, check the description. You guys will see an exchange that I think you guys are going to really benefit from. Don't do a lot of exchange partnerships because frankly, I want to promote an exchange that I actually would and will use. And so I think I found one that I'm going to use, and I'll share that with you. All right, guys, really appreciate all of you tuning in. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for all of the super chats. Make sure to sign up for Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis today. Get access to all those videos, office hours, and get joined in the community as we start on this long journey towards financial sovereignty together. And also make sure to sign up for Lux Algo using coupon code JEBB30, J-E-B-B, 30% for 30% off at checkout. You will save almost $500 in the first year if you sign up with the annual plan and with that JEBB30 coupon code. So go save $472. That's the number, by using that coupon code, signing up for the annual plan, and getting started with technical analysis today. Really appreciate all of you for tuning in. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.